All right, let's just dive right into this. If you work in modern AV, you know the headache I'm talking about, that massive Tower of Babel problem. You've got all this incredible high-end networked audio gear, but depending on the brand, they're basically speaking entirely different languages. Welcome to this explainer where we're going to see exactly how AES67 steps in as the ultimate universal translator for networked audio, tearing down those walls between proprietary systems.
To see how this standard bridges the gap, we'll quickly look at the networked audio evolution, core transport and synchronization, managing quality of service, navigating device discovery, and finally, getting that sweet multi-vendor interoperability. First up, the networked audio evolution from CobraNet to convergence.
So CobraNet really kicked things off back in 1996 out in Boulder, Colorado. It was a total pioneer using Layer 2 networking, but, it had its fair share of limitations with latency and hardware costs. By the early 2000s, the industry had widely accepted IP connectivity. But here's the catch. As the tech advanced, manufacturers started building their own walled gardens to optimize performance.
And that leads us right to our current, very fragmented landscape. You have amazingly powerful protocols out there like Dante and Livewire Plus, or Ravenna and Q-Lan. Don't get me wrong, they are fantastic at what they do. But natively, out of the box, they simply cannot speak to each other. You're locked into one ecosystem. And honestly, that is the exact problem AES67 was ratified to solve. Moving to Section 2, Core Transport and Synchronization, the Rules of the Road.
Now, what's fascinating about AES67 is that regardless of the manufacturer, it forces the transport layer to behave in a very specific, standardized way. To actually make a connection, media packets literally have to utilize RTP, that's real-time transport protocol, over UDP, and it absolutely mandates the use of IPv4. By forcing this strict baseline, AES67 ensures every single piece of gear is on the exact same page when we're talking about the physical movement of data across your switches. On top of that, this standard requires some specific, non-negotiable audio specs for sync and streaming. Yes, higher or lower specs can be supported, but the baseline is rock solid. All devices must support a 48 kHz sampling rate. Senders and receivers require both 16-bit and 24-bit linear encoding. And crucially, the common packet time is strictly locked at 1 millisecond. That right there is what guarantees the incredibly low latency you absolutely need for professional, real-time audio.
All right, Section 3, Managing Quality of Service, Traffic Control for Audio. Think of QoS as the traffic cop on your network. But when you start mixing protocols, man, there is a massive collision waiting to happen. Network switches use DSCP values to prioritize traffic. Dante uses a DSCP value of 46 for its medium priority audio. But AES67? It uses that exact same value, 46, for its absolute highest priority traffic, the media clock. Without intervention, your switch has no idea if a packet is just standard audio or the critical timing clock keeping your entire system in sync. So to prevent your network from completely breaking down over these mismatched values, you have to step in. The solution here is configuring a feature called port egress remarking on your network switch. Basically, this lets you set up a rule that automatically translates and substitutes those DSCP values as they pass through the switch ports. It ensures our traffic cop treats both Dante and AES67 packets with the exact priority they actually need.
Section 4, Navigating Device Discovery, or, finding the gear. Okay, so our traffic is flowing cleanly, it's prioritized correctly, but now we hit another hurdle. How do these devices actually find each other in the first place? Interestingly enough, AES67 doesn't strictly mandate a specific discovery mechanism. Because it's open, we get a bit of a divide based on what different vendors chose. On one side, you've got Audinate's Dante and QSC natively using the Session Announcement Protocol, or SAP, to broadcast their presence. On the other side, Ravenna uses Bonjour for service discovery and sends its Session Description Protocol data via RTSP. So even if the audio transport is perfectly compatible, a Dante console is not going to naturally see a Ravenna microphone. But fortunately for all of us, there is a brilliant piece of freeware developed by ALC Networks called Rav2ASAP. It acts as the ultimate bridge. This software just sits on your network and acts as a dedicated translator specifically for these discovery protocols. Let's see how this actually builds a connection. It works in 3 really simple steps. First, Rav2ASAP captures the Bonjour announcement from a device, like a Ravenna interface. Second, the software opens that up and translates the vital session description protocol data. You know, the sample rate, channel count, multicast addresses, the whole shebang. Finally, it cross-converts this info and transmits it right back out as a SAP announcement. And just like that, suddenly your Dante receiver can see the Ravenna device, and you can route your audio perfectly.
Finally, Section 5, multi-vendor interoperability, the converged network. When we pull all these elements together, the standardized transport, the careful QoS traffic management, and bridging those discovery protocols, we finally reach our ultimate goal. By leveraging AES67, you could literally have a front-of-house system running Dante, a broadcast facility running Livewire Plus, stadium-wide audio on QSys, and venue comms on Ravenna. Through AES67 streams, they are all sharing the exact same off-the-shelf IP infrastructure, flawlessly passing high-quality, ultra-low latency audio back and forth. The audio industry is benefiting massively from adopting these mature IT standards. No longer are end users and system designers constrained by keeping system components within a single protocol. We really don't need those expensive, discrete network bridges anymore, or complex, separate MADI lines just to connect a mixing console of one brand to the amplifiers of another. It's a total game changer. Because at the end of the day, AES67 isn't about replacing Dante or Ravenna or Q-Lan. It's about empowering them to actually play nicely together. So, armed with this understanding of the ultimate universal audio translator, how will you break free from proprietary constraints on your next big AV design? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer. Now go out there and build some truly unified audio networks.